In finance, we talk a lot about asset allocation, risk premiums, and liquidity. But there is one asset class we rarely analyze: human capital. And there is one market we never study is the family unit. When you look at siblings, you are looking at the ultimate control group in an economic experiment. Same upbringing, same parental resources, same baseline environment. So, when one sibling starts to accumulate wealth and the other doesn't, the dynamic doesn't just change emotionally, it changes economically. The hierarchy shifts, the decision-making authority shifts, and most importantly, the respect shifts. But here's the crucial distinction that most people miss. Your siblings do not respect you because you have a large bank balance. Money is just the scoreboard. They respect you because you made it. They respect the execution, the risk management, and the cognitive fortitude required to go from 0 to 7 figures. The wealth is just the trailing indicator of your competence. Today, we are mapping out that trajectory. We are breaking down exactly how your siblings treat you at every wealth level, from $0 to a millionaire, and why their respect for your financial IQ is the real currency at play. Let's run the numbers. Level 1, the $0 net worth, the high-risk speculator. You are at ground zero. Perhaps you are bootstrapping a business, buried in student debt, or aggressively reinvesting every penny. Your liquid net worth is negligible. You are a high beta asset, high volatility, uncertain returns. At this stage, your siblings treat you with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. You are an interesting story, but you are not an authority. When the family discusses financial matters, your opinion carries 0 weight. You are not invited to the table for strategic decisions. Your siblings do not ask you for advice. They don't ask you to review their 401k allocations. In fact, they might even try to give you advice, usually unsolicited and outdated. In their friend circles, you are mentioned, but as an abstract concept. My sibling is trying to start this business. A real grind. The tone is neutral. You are a project to them, not a peer. They are observers, waiting to see if you crash or fly. At $0, your social credit score within the family hierarchy is low because your execution risk is high. You are a speculative asset. They don't disrespect you personally. They simply assign you a low probability of success based on the data available. And until you prove your system works, you remain a retail investor in their eyes, full of hope, lacking in track record. Level 2, the $30,000 to $50,000 income. You are cash flow positive. You are covering your burn rate. You might not have massive savings, but you are surviving without external support. You have exited the danger zone. The sibling treatment, the peer recognition shift. This is the inflection point where the skepticism begins to fade. You are no longer a charity case. You are a functioning economic unit. Your siblings start asking you about your job market. They ask, how is the industry treating you? They are genuinely curious about your financial ecosystem. The unsolicited advice stops. They start treating you as an equal rather than a subordinate. However, you are still not a decision maker in the family. If your parents need financial advice, they still call your older sibling or the one with the corporate job. You are a peer, but you are not an expert. In their friend circles, you get an upgrade. They stop avoiding the topic and start saying, my sibling is doing really well in tech/finance/real estate. You've graduated from trying to doing, but the respect is still transactional. It's based on your stability, not your strategy. The behavioral economics, you have reduced your volatility. In portfolio terms, you've moved from a penny stock to a blue chip dividend payer. You are stable, predictable, and reliable. This commands baseline respect. But to command premium respect, you need to show alpha, and that requires scaling. Level 3, the $100 000 plus income, the strategic operator. You have cracked the code. You are generating serious cash flow. You understand leverage, you have a functioning budget, and you are actively investing. You are playing the long game. This is where the respect starts to compound. Your siblings stop talking to you about their day-to-day and start asking you about strategy. They come to you with specific questions. I'm looking at a mortgage for a new house. What rate should I lock in? My company is offering me equity. Should I take it or ask for more salary? I have $10,000 sitting in savings. Should I put it in a CD or index fund? They don't ask you for money. They ask you for knowledge. They recognize that your financial framework is superior to theirs. You are no longer just a sibling. You are a resource of information. In their friend circles, the narrative shifts again. They start bragging about your expertise. They say, "My sibling is really sharp with finances. They help me structure my savings." People in their social group start wanting to meet you, not because you are rich, but because you are smart. Your siblings are now using you as social proof. They associate with you to elevate their own standing. This isn't malice. It's human nature. It's called status signaling. The behavioral economics. You have moved from a stable asset to a growth asset. You are compounding not just your money, but your intellectual capital. Your siblings respect you because your decision-making alpha is now visible. The money is secondary. The process is primary. Level 4, the $300,000 net worth, the asset accumulator. You now have significant assets under management. You own property, have a diversified portfolio, and are generating passive income. You are no longer trading time for money. You are trading risk for returns. This is the stage where the hierarchy formally flips. Previously, your parents or your older siblings were the financial anchors of the family. Now, that role shifts to you. When the family needs to make a major decision, selling a property, restructuring debt, or planning for retirement, they look to you to lead the discussion. Your siblings don't resent this. They defer to it. They trust your judgment because you have a track record. They treat you with a heightened level of respect in every interaction. When you speak about money, they listen. When you express a market opinion, they absorb it. In their friend circles, they don't just mention you, they endorse you. They say, "If you ever want to get into real estate, you need to talk to my sibling." They know the market inside out. You become their go-to expert. They are proud to know you because your knowledge has high market value. The behavioral economics. You have established a proven track record of asset allocation and risk management. Your siblings treat you like a general partner GP in a venture fund. They are the limited partners LPs. They don't have your execution skills, so they defer to your judgment. The respect is rooted in your capital allocation skills, not the capital itself. Level 5. The $500,000, $700,000 assets. The wealth builder. You are knocking on the door of 7 figures. You have multiple income streams. You understand tax optimization. You have a clear 5-year plan to hit the $1 million mark. At this level, your siblings treat you like an institution. They don't just ask for advice. They ask for your stamp of approval. If your sister is about to buy a car, she sends you the deal sheet to review. If your brother is changing careers, he asks you to review his employment contract. They want to run their decisions through your filter. They trust your lens because your lens has been proven to work. Here's the interesting part. They don't expect you to pay for things. In fact, they often refuse your offers to pay because they respect your time so much that they don't want to feel like they are wasting it. They value your guidance far more than your gift. In their friend circles, you are a legend. They tell stories about your discipline. They say, "My sibling works relentlessly. They wake up at 4 a.m. They read earnings reports for fun. They are the most disciplined person I know." The money is never the headline. The habits and intelligence are the headline. Your siblings respect you because you built a system that works, and they are trying to replicate pieces of that system for themselves. You are their benchmark, not a target of envy, but a blueprint for success. The behavioral economics. You have achieved institutional alpha. Your siblings see you as a superior allocator of resources. They don't want your liquidity. They want your liquidity strategy. The respect is for your cognitive capital, the way you think about risk and reward. Level 6, the proven maestro. Your financial profile, you have broken through the 7-figure barrier. You are a legitimate high net worth individual. You have mastered delayed gratification, compounding, and scaling. This is the ultimate tier. And the treatment here is fascinating. Your siblings treat you with the highest level of respect, not because you have money in the bank, but because you have executed a plan over decades. You have proven that you can predict, adapt, and conquer. They do not ask you for loans. They ask you for your thesis. What sectors are you looking at for the next 5 years? How did you structure your exit? What's your take on inflation protection? They treat you like a professor whose office hours they are desperate to get into. Your time becomes a premium asset. They are acutely aware of the opportunity cost of your minutes, so they respect your schedule. In their friend circles, the bragging becomes institutional. They say, "My sibling is a millionaire," but honestly, the money isn't even the impressive part. The way they think is incredible. They see patterns that no one else sees. They talk about your trajectory, not your balance. They are proud to tell people that they are related to someone who built a system from scratch. You represent possibility. You represent the peak of human capital execution. Your siblings take pride in your success because it validates the genetic pool. It says, "That came from my family." And when they talk about you, they are leveraging your status to enhance their own social standing. But it's done with genuine admiration. The psychology of making it the finance perspective. Let's zoom out and look at the macro trends here. Why does their respect scale so perfectly with your income, even when they don't benefit financially from it? Because siblings are the purest measurement of perceived competence. They knew you at your worst. They knew you at your most disorganized. They knew you when you had zero credibility. So when they watch you build a financial fortress from the ground up, they aren't just watching money grow. They are watching competence compound. Every dollar you earn is a receipt of a good decision made months or years earlier. A $50,000 salary says you made some decent decisions. A $100,000 income says you made excellent strategic decisions. A $1 million net worth says you made flawless systemic decisions over a long time horizon. They respect the decision-making protocol that got you there. They brag about you to their friends, not because you are wealthy, but because you represent a case study in human optimization. So, what is the real lesson here? The way your siblings treat you at every wealth level is a microcosm of how the financial world treats you. When you have no track record, no one listens. When you have a moderate track record, people are curious. When you have an exceptional track record, people seek your counsel. But the beautiful part of this dynamic, when viewed through a positive lens, is that your siblings aren't envious. They are inspired. You provide the blueprint. You prove that upward mobility is real. You demonstrate that with discipline and strategy, the system can be beaten. And as your income grows, your siblings don't shy away from you. They gravitate toward you. Not because you have money, but because you have answers. Because you have clarity. Because you are living proof that making it is possible. They brag about you in their friend circles because you are the tangible example of human potential. They don't talk about the cars you buy. They talk about the decisions you make. They talk about your work ethic, your risk management, and your ability to delay gratification. That is the ultimate respect. It is earned through sweat equity, compounded over time. At $0, you are a question mark. At $1 million, you are the answer. And that is how your siblings treat you when you build real, sustainable wealth. They don't see you as a wallet. They see you as a winner. And they will tell the entire world about it.